welcome to the Kenyan Flat-Footed Space. Nemi here, and today I'm joined by Shanice Nyokabi. She's become a regular in this channel, which is super amazing. We are doing a Bible Bits and Bites session. As you have seen, our bite rather is our gluten-free muffin chocolate pumpkins, which I made in the previous video, so please check that out. Links will be in the description box as usual. So this is a part 2 of a series that I'm doing called When the Hopelessness Kicks In, and so I'm having Shanice over just to talk about what she's been up to for the last 4, 5, 6 months, because I was telling her this and she wasn't believing, but like she's like really inspired me. She's been able to do quite a lot in the past 5 months, school related stuff, which we'll get into. I'm gonna just be asking her a list of questions that she'll relate to what she's done to in the past 5 months. So Shanice, question number 1. Karibu sana to the Kenyan Flat-Footed. Did I not welcome you?
Okay,
So question 1, how are you doing generally? How are you coping? How is this season taking you as at now and as well before?
By this season, you mean Corona?
Yes, by this pandemic season.
I think I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing as well as I can be doing in the situation. Yeah. In the beginning, I wasn't doing as well in terms of, I think there was a lot of instability mentally, because you're not sure, okay, so what's happening? So how are we going to deal with it? So what's the country doing? I think because you're in shock, first of all, and you're not comprehending what's going on, and no one really is, there's a lot of confusion. But now I think as we're going, people have now put in measures. It's almost conclusive how people how it's being transmitted, how to prevent it's almost clear, as opposed to the beginning where we knew nothing about it. So I think that's partly also is helping bring in the stability, because you sort of know what to expect, and you can see, okay, some countries are opening, okay, some borders, even us ourselves, we're open now. Just like, okay, so now we just have to deal with it. So I think I'm doing better now than last time.
The sense of familiarity, comprehension. I get. Okay, question 2, what's been keeping you going or keeping you sane during this pandemic season? It could be hobbies, routine, books perhaps, etc, etc.
I think what's keeping me going right now is that already I feel like the worst of it is over, in the sense that right now I don't need to really be focused on my schoolwork. I don't have much to do, so I'm more relaxed now, because I only have Corona to deal with. I don't have any other issues to deal with. So it's mostly just relaxing and letting go. I think throughout the Corona period I've learned to just let go, because I can't control what's happening. And I think that's partly why we usually get anxious and stressed. It's because you sort of, at the back of our minds, we want to control the situation, but we can't.
And you don't want to surrender.
I've just realized you just have to, so whatever choice you have, you surrender and you leave everything. So I think that's what has helped me to cope. It's the constant reminding myself to surrender and to not hold on to it.
Question number 3, what's been the hardest thing or move or adjustment during this season, the pandemic season?
I think for me, the adjustment, the biggest and hardest one, is adjusting to the fact that we are all so different as human beings. That there are people who don't believe the disease exists. There are people who believe it exists, but they feel like they can't get it. And then there are people who just don't care about anything. And then there are people who actually do care. And then, realizing that we are so different and there's nothing I can do about it is what has been the hardest thing. Because I think I've seen this meme so many times. It's like we're doing a group project, all of us, the whole world. We're all doing a group project, but the participants, just 5 out of millions.
Any school you will end a special project.
It is only one participant most of the time. So now it's a worldwide group project. Participants, there are only 5. And it's such a struggle to adjust to the fact that they will be like that and they'll forever be like that, and I can't change anything about that. So accepting them and accepting that people have different views about it. though it affects all of us in almost the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing.
I thought
And
you were
also
going
adjusting to not seeing people all the time,
Yeah.
not celebrating things the way we would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
But
graduation
it's not so
is coming
much.
up
Not
next
so much,
month.
actually.
See, let me finish. Her graduation is coming up next month. She just finished school, and we're actually trying to figure out what we're going to do because this episode will not let us thrive. But speaking of graduation, I actually thought you were going to mention that you finishing school virtually this last.
But
5
I did
months.
finish virtually. I actually pinned up.
I know, but like just having to do that without actually going to school, like that wasn't a struggle for you because
I do all my work by myself, so it doesn't matter where I am. I'm still doing the same work, and then we had already finished all the syllabus.
Okay.
So there's nothing I needed from them. The only hard part was the fact that they're not communicating, and the fact that now, because we had to do an online submission, there was so much confusion around it because it's the first time I've done it. That was not funny. But it wasn't so hard. It was just okay.
Sleeping hours, you're just used to that. So let me tell you guys, I'd go to sleep and tell Shanice I'm going to sleep, and she'd literally be like, my night has just begun, and that's like 11 midnight.
11, which is 11.
See, and then she would sleep at 5 a.m. So that's why I'm just here like, you're such a role model because I am currently doing a school project, and
Yeah, but sleeping at 5 is not good for you. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not good. It's true. It's true. But like honestly,
but consistency
is key, and which is what I applaud you for.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So question number 4: how did you manage, or how have you been managing to keep the hope alive, especially in the despairing moments of this season?
Keeping hope alive. I think number 1 is really, but this I've always done. I don't think I began it recently. Just controlling what is coming into my mind and into my space. So I've really minimized any, like you see even this series that there's, like I was even talking to my friend, I asked for suggestions on my Instagram for series to watch, and majority of what was being suggested, Is It Walking Dead, I watched the first episode, there were already like 5 deaths in the first 20 minutes. I was like, by the way, I can't do this because as much as I can sit there and watch it, but it's depositing something in my spirit that will come back again when I'm doing other things. So I've really tried to control what is coming into my space. So I only watch comedies. I only watch things that will make me happy or that will inform me. That's the only 2 categories I watch, but that's generally not even due to the pandemic. And then I've also realized, because now we're at home and you're with your parents and relatives, also picking your battles is really important because you have so much time to argue about nothing. You have so much time to keep bickering, to shout at each other. There's a lot of time and a lot of opportunities. So I have decided to pick my battles. If it's not important, if I won't care about it even a week from now, I won't discuss it, let it just pass. So that's one of the things that's kept me sane, because otherwise that's it. You can argue with your parents for days.
And it will just go on. Speaking of keeping your hope alive, and you saying that you're choosing what's coming in, what's coming out, I know you're currently, which I had said just now when I was doing part 1 of this, I know you're currently on a social media break. Is that part of this? How's that going? Is it nice? Is it something you'd advise people to do as well?
So I've taken a social media break, but for me it's more of I just don't want to be influenced. Because already I had subtracted, I unfollowed all the pages that were making me feel sad way before, but now I'm on a break just because I don't want it to influence how I'm thinking or influence how I'm feeling or influence my decisions, because I'm taking time to just see, okay, so what do I want to do with my life? And I feel like any outside input that is not necessarily warranted, because you can't control what's going to appear on your feed. Your feed is your feed. It changes depending on who you follow. You can't really sift. You see, your YouTube sort of knows what you watch, so they'll just recommend the things that you watch. But Instagram, whatever Ika decides to post is what will appear. So I've decided to remove all that influence for now. Of course I'll be back, but for now I don't need that influence because I'm trying to figure something out.
Just watching what you're getting in. Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 5. Any highlight, silver lining thing that you are grateful for in the midst of all this?
I'm grateful for finishing school.
Yes.
That was a mountain.
Congratulations. Yes.
So I'm grateful for finishing.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful.
Blessing.
Like I'm seriously grateful. I didn't think it was possible, but here we are.
She's an architecture student, so
Now an architect.
now she's an architect. Sorry. So I mean, like,
in 2 years I'll be an architect.
yeah. The sleepless nights, everything, like they've just been there. The crazy pinups, all those things. Yeah, I mean, honestly, congrats.
This whole time.
I've been biting. So number 6, one thing you wish you would have done differently before the pandemic, and one that you will do differently after.
I think they're the same. They're the same answer. I wish I cherished my time with my family and my friends before, and that's what I think I'll carry forward into my life after, if ever there's an after. There's an after Corona.
No, we are trying to keep that hope alive.
But even if there isn't, we can still enjoy life and we can still appreciate the little we have. It could have been worse. So just cherishing the time I had with my family without restrictions, without having to worry about am I transmitting something to you, especially when now you go to Shah
to see your grandparents.
Yeah. Now not having to worry about them it was such a nice chance. But now you see it in hindsight, but in the moment you don't really enjoy and take in. Of course I was trying because I tried to be present constantly, but I feel like I would have done better at being present with my friends and not thinking about other things while I'm doing something with someone.
Just like being in the moment.
Yeah, and appreciating it because moments unfold so quickly, life moves so quickly. I mean, look now, I'm done with school. Did I enjoy being in school? You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, okay. Number 7, what have been your biggest lessons in this season of the pandemic so far? And or what are you learning, because it could be something ongoing, so something you've learned or something that you're currently learning.
I think, like I've said, it's letting go of the situation and letting go of people to just do what they want to do and make decisions for themselves. And then also I think I'm an introvert, yes, but I've never really looked, I do look inward, but then now I'm really looking inward to a point where I know how to still myself. I know how to speak to myself in a situation where I'm like under stress. I can speak to myself to calm myself, which I did. That skill I didn't have before. Now I have it to a point where even if like there could be madness happening, but I know now how to speak to myself, what to remind myself, what verses to read, what prayer to pray. Now I know more because I had the time to sit and do those things. Yeah.
Great. What's been your verse or verses of encouragement this season?
The number 1 is the Isaiah 43. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be burnt. The flames will not set you ablaze. So the fire and the water and the rivers will be there for sure. It's not saying if you walk through the waters, it's when you walk through the waters, I will be with you, and when you walk through the fire, it won't consume you. So it's just to kujishikilia through the fire until you get to the other side, but knowing that it won't consume you is really important. So that's what's been holding on to me.
Yeah, so I like what you said about it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And so at this point in time, we might say like, this COVID is like one of the biggest things that we are going through. But if you really think about it, there's
a much bigger,
things of magnitude that God has enabled us to go through. And He's the same God back then. He's the same God, even now. And post coronavirus, there'll be other things that we have to go through. And so I think that's a really timely verse from Isaiah. Okay, so number 9 and 10 kind of tied together, but I'll ask them differently. How's your faith holding up during the season? How's your QT? How's your prayer life, fellowship, etc.?
I think in some ways it's doing better, and in some ways it's not doing better. It's doing worse. QT I think is doing better because I have time. And I don't have much responsibility at this point. So I can sit for hours and listen to sermons. I can sit for hours and read the Bible. I don't have restrictions if I need to be somewhere at a certain time. But now fellowship is basically at zero, because I knew, do I have any fellowship except for when you're talking with someone on the phone? Past that, there's really no fellowship happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Yay. Number 10. What area are you struggling with as far as your faith goes? And then, is there anything you feel that God is teaching you in this season?
What am I struggling with?
You don't have to give me description. Are you struggling? Am I the only one who's struggling?
I think it's understanding, trying to see the big picture of what's happening, the way God sees it. Because He knows the end from the beginning. Not trying to understand, okay, so if you know the end from the beginning, and it was meaning you know this is happening, and you knew it was going to happen. So what is the purpose? Trying to see things like God is seeing them is very difficult. So now that makes it harder to understand what God is trying to do in this season. Okay. And also accepting that He knows what's best, even if people are dying, even if people are suffering. That's really hard to accept sometimes. But then at the end of the day, you have to remember that He's God and He can do what He wants. Which is fine.
I like what you said, because it's something we had talked about. By the way, guys, this is the second time we're doing this video. Let's not go into that. But like something we talked about in the other video that I said is, for example, you as an architect, you know, you guys make blueprints for...
Oh my gosh, me as an architect.
Wait, I don't want to like use wrong terminology, but like you guys use blueprints for, you know, construction and stuff. And so it's like me, as a linguist who has zero information about architecture, trying to take your blueprint and trying to understand, you know, flipping it over and over and trying to make sense of everything. And I know that I'm not gonna do that. And so, you know, when Isaiah says that his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our ways, I think, you know, it's super crucial. So something that we can hold on to in this season is just knowing that God has it in control. We might not know and understand what or why He's doing what He's doing.
His way is the best.
Yeah, His way is the best. He's sovereign, and so we just have to trust that. And just hope that our anchor actually will hold in knowing that He has everything under control. So thank you so much, Shanice Nyokabi, for joining.
For the second time.
For the second time. Thank you so much. Thank you as well to Roy, who has provided this very wonderful studio. Yes. And everything will be in the description box. Sorry, links is what I meant to say. And also just to shout out, I'm using metal straws from Green Thing KE, and I'm using this bamboo straw from Bakuli Organics. So yeah, just to shout that out. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Let me know how you are faring. Let me know anything that really related to you from the 10 questions that we asked. And if you're a YouTuber or just even on your Insta feed or anything, Facebook Live, anything, yes, I will post the 10 questions as they are in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good time. Bye. God bless you. Like, share, subscribe, comment.